Hello everybody, this is Darshini. I apologize. I was meant to upload this. It's actually 3:33, magic number, p.m. In America, California, on the 4th of January 2013. So as I promised, I am actually going ahead and, oops, and we lost it. And going ahead and giving you the predictions for Canada. And thank you for your patience. I know a few of you have been kindly reminding me. Everything is timing, and that's why it's been a bit crazy. But anyway, here we go. As I said in my previous videos, and I will quickly go over that just going back onto the previous video I did in Canada from last year, Bob Kopp, who's been really sweet and kind to keep me on track here and honest and giving me feedback, which I really do appreciate if something does happen. Unfortunately, I can't take everything, check everything every single minute or any of the predictions. So I rely on people like Bob Kopp and a few others to actually give me confirmation of things. Now, what I will say is that again, thank you to Bob Kopp, because as you can see, he has already, I'll go down a bit here, just bear with me please, and that is he had confirmed in July on the 19th that there was flooding, and I'm not talking about, sorry, June, there wasn't, and this is not related so per se to any kind of melting snows. Some wise people, wise crackers, I could say something else, but I won't, said, well, of course there's going to be flooding after snow. Well, you know what? This is independent. So he did say, as he says, parts of Yukon, Northwest Territory, and students were voicing more concerns in Quebec. A lot of the happenings in politics and the government, which will greatly impact families in Canada. And I really feel that throughout the year there were quite a few protests still happening. And here again, he had said right on the money, and I had predicted a huge oil strike, and it was where I said Apache Company has recently found a huge deposit of oil gas in southern Yukon, or now northern BC. They said it might be bigger than Saudi Arabia in terms of volume per litre, which is what I said, that it's going to be a massive, massive thing, which I'll kind of touch on the next one. So basically, and there was a 7.7, which I'm sure you all heard of, but luckily it didn't impact too much on most of the people there. So Bob Kopp was keeping me straight here. Now, going back to where we are now, and as you can see, that earthquake did have repercussions, and it will do for the most of this year until it'll slightly lessen around about June that I see, but July, I mean, it's really through November that you'll find that it really starts dwindling down. But as I said, it's on the circumference, but you're going to see far more earthquakes in this region. And in here, it will expand sporadically, not huge ones, so don't start emailing me, you know, where you are and that you're going to get earthquakes. But their little spot ones are going to increase towards this way, this zone here. And this is becoming a bit more unstable, this area. It's like a V here. Is going to become unstable. Don't be surprised if you are going to see about a 6-pointer. But it will be off the coast around about here in this square here, and it's pretty deep, so it really doesn't have too much repercussions on it. There won't be any tsunamis, so you don't need to worry about that over here. As for this whole area is becoming unstable, and I'm not going to say that it's going to be immediate, but it will be over some time. But it's that's why I'm concerned about Seattle, Washington, and that, which I've always said that this is related. And obviously I can't, I'm not going to talk about America here, it's really Canada. But as you can see, it is growing up here. So really what this section here is going to become more active. And you're going to see, as I said, far more earthquakes in these vicinities, even in here on the edges. So we can go into the other area later, but expect some. I do see one large one, again, like a 6.9 happening, and this would be around in this section. All right. And I'm only going to cover on that earthquake. I don't want to get people to be obsessive. I do check in once in a while, every few days or so, once a week when I can. I've got some other projects, obviously. I'm trying to get the book out. So hopefully I can update you and check back. And if you really are interested in monitoring this and you feel that I've been pretty accurate, which unfortunately I've already been a bit accurate on the 12-12-12 predictions for America regarding shootings, 4 of them. 4 horrible shootings happened in America within 48 hours of when 24, the main worst one, and all the others happened, unfortunately, within 48 hours. So that is going to happen more in America, not in Canada. But you're going to see far more youth, actually. I have to be honest, let me go to Google. Thank you to USGS, well, actually Canada's, and also Google Earth. And here I'm seeing that in, and it's really weird, I'm seeing, it's like protests or confrontations with youth organizations or youth people in Winnipeg, Toronto, and it's in really the main areas. In some in Ontario it's not as bad, but for some reason I'm seeing far more confrontations, political or with agendas that they want. It seems that there is some kind of political change. I don't know. Again, this is up to you to let me know about Canadian politics, but I feel that there is a change where there is unemployment and the youth are getting frustrated and they're taking their anger out, kind of being misled, I have to be honest, on about a piece of the pie, maybe 17%. There are other people, literally groups I'm talking about, that are manipulating through the web, mostly, that are manipulating the younger groups where they have all this energy and then they actually just turn the key, and I hate to say it, like little automatons, they go flying. And it's their future. So if you are young and you're listening to this, don't let other people literally wind you up or make decisions for you. Really think it out. If you really believe it, trust your intuition. It's very crucial because there are going to be confrontations on that. And there are insidious groups there who are trying to instigate change within instigate a different reform on some kind. So it's up to you, but if you see that somebody seems to be drastically changing, and again I'm talking about age groups from about it's not a few from 36 downwards, but it's really the main age group 28 down to about 14 that they are feeling deprived of their power, and they're getting far more aggressive, which I'm sorry to say I'm seeing, in a way, not so much the violence, but there's more aggression going on in Canada. Other than Canada, and we did talk about that oil exploration, and I am seeing that oil is actually going to be piggybacked by another discovery later on, around about July, August, and it's about 50 miles away. I won't tell you where it is, but 50 miles away there is another reserve. It's a different pocket, but it's not as big, but it's still significant. So Canada's discovering all these self-resources. There are a lot of environmental groups that are really kind of aghast at this, but it is going to actually help the economy a bit more. Flooding, and I do see, again, after those earthquakes, I said they're going to be around here. I am seeing really heavier snow, and the snow, it is time, I know that, but you're going to see kind of a good fall of snow from this angle. And again, it's not exact, so please say, oh well, you know, you got it wrong because you were about 50 miles away. But quite frankly, I'm seeing a huge heaviness of snow from this onwards, and it's really that pocket more or less doesn't get affected, but you're going to see heavy snow areas, heavier snow, and some really vicious storms. I'm seeing 3 really hard and horrendous heavy snowfall storms that are really bring cities and towns to a halt, basically for 2 to 3 days. I realize you're used to snow, but this is something that's very aggressive. The change is there. And there is subsequent flooding, but it's really on an independent scale. I'm seeing about there's some kind of summer storm around about end of June to July through August. There's a whole storm system that you get barraged constantly in waves of, and it's coming from this direction. In flooding, in heavy rainfall. So be warned about that. And I do see that the people here on this lake shore here are going to feel it in there, and that it's going to actually invade. If you're on very near to the beach, just be warned about that, okay? And I do see a kind of strange, and this is going to be in all the other predictions that I'm doing. I'm seeing more what we call not tidal bores, which is not a freak happening, but phenom. It's actually when on a full moon, you're going to see far more high tides. And in the areas that are going to be affected, and let me know again, from here until round about here, there's going to be a whole high tide. And there are 3 significant ones. One's going to be one more aggressive, like at least 14 feet above what the norm is. And then there are some smaller tidal bores or freak high tides from here onwards. They're having it in weird spaces, and throughout America as well, which I'll go into on another video as a supplement to the additional ones I put out earlier. So basically you are going to be going through a lot of weather systems, quite frankly. Hail is going to be not either, but it will be larger and more aggressive. The winter system will actually go on until about into May, late April to May, and you're not really seeing a good summer until really middle June to July. But there again, you are going to have huge, high heat from about here to here, where you're going to experience what we've been experiencing. And I know you did it last year, and I'm sure I put it in that higher heat indicators, where you're going about 2 to 3% or degrees above your norm. So be warned about that. And it's really towards August, July, August, you're going to have an Indian summer. Summer will really come in until about mid-November to end of November. So that's the weather for Canada. You are going to see, as I said, the political upheaval. You are, what else can I tell you? Really, it's as if people are changing, where Canada is very much like, well, I wouldn't say very much like England, Canada is Canada, but it's far, because England is a bit more aggressive on certain stances. Canada was more laid back and far more where you could leave your doors open, or you don't lock your cars. You're going to see that your violence is going to increase, and there's no apparent reason other than, I hate to say it's reality TV or people, the younger, certain generations, put it that way, getting a bit more aggressive and not, in other words, they want things instantly. And this is part of something I've been writing about in the book, that if you're interested, just email me or let me know, contact me. and I'll put you on the waiting list when it's released. But it is going to be a bit controversial, some of the subjects I cover. But anyway, basically it is pretty sad. You're going to see a lot of aggression in your youth, and surprisingly it's the girls that are going to be far more aggressive and assertive, out of, not to say that the boys won't, they will be, but not where you're kind of expecting it. It's going to be far more of the 13 through 23-year-olds that you're going to see far more conflicts, troubles. You know, they're making the news because they've done something. And it's not even normal kind of, not exercise, but normal perceptions. They're doing some stupid things, some of these kids. So basically watch for that, all right? As for anything else, I don't really see it, but I do see, again, pockets of little discoveries where you've got, I don't know if it's the government or it's actually oil companies getting far more aggressive in their hunting for, actually, other than gold and silver, actually I'm seeing, which is more about this area on the gold aspect, but it's really to do with, how can I say, I don't know why that's coming in for gold and silver, but it's also looking for resources. All right, so basically that's it. I mean, yes, there's, you know, obviously Alaska has gold, but the gold is distributed around all this whole section that I'm seeing, but don't go crazy. You have to find it. They're in veins. That's it, really. If you keep, I will try and do some updates, and if there are people like Bob Cobb who are kind enough to keep me updated, I really appreciate that. But otherwise, in a quick synopsis, that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to, you can join me. I'll be doing videos and uploading it later too for Europe, Asia, and this is really on global aspects as well. So that means that there are indications and attitudes where people are just losing it, quite frankly. And then that will be in subsequently to other videos as well, covering other countries. Thank you again for joining me, and I hope you can let me know how I did. And I'm sorry about the wonky video. And for Americans, wonky means not quite, oh, it's tilted. Anyway, as long as you got the information, that's more important to me. Take care, and I wish you well on the 2013. If you have time, I did upload 2 special videos just at the end of the new year, and if you might like to view that, I'm hoping to share with people who are really facing financial trouble, stress, suicide again, and just at the end of their rope, and hopefully those 2 videos, part 1 and 2, will help you. Let me know. Take care. Bye-bye.